Radhe Radhe. Today is Saturday, 13th September 2025, and we welcome you to this recap video for today's Bhagavad Gita study session. We're continuing to make great progress along our journey of chapter 11 and getting to hear and see, in a way, vicariously through Arjun, whatever he is feeling and articulating. As we continue, along with me, here is Mummy.
Radhe Radhe.
So as I bring up the screen, you'll momentarily see that we covered today chapter 11, verses 41, 42, and 43. As always, if you take a look at the description for this video, you'll get the link to the free community portal page where you can get all these slides and other relevant content. Of course, in class, we started off with the recap quiz, and that was for last week's content on chapter 11, verses 38, 39, and 40. With that, we now shall get started with chapter 11, verses 41 and 42 combined as they show up in Swamiji's Holy Bhagavad Gita.
Sakheti matva prasabham yad uktam. He Krishna, he Yadav, he Sakheti. Ajanata mahimanam tavedam. Maya pramadat pranayena vapi. Yat chavaha sartham asatkritosi. विहारशय्यासन भोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्य अच्युत तत्समक्षं तत् अक्षामये त्वाम् अहम् अप्रमेयम्.
So, chapter 11, verses 41 and 42, as we noted, they appear together in Swamiji's book. The catchphrase for each of them is with alliteration and with the same letter for both. So we have as a question, forgetful friend, chapter 11, verse 41. That's the question to think about. Leading into chapter 11, verse 42, forgiveness, friend. So Mummy will explain more when it gets to her turn, but briefly, as we saw in class as well, Arjun is noting his admission. He's acknowledging that he has perhaps been forgetful. Of course, forgetful of Sri Krishna's supreme position, or just understanding what Arjun's own role has to be or had to be in that relationship. So he's been forgetful, he's been foolish. There's much more, and you can ponder about that. And therefore, then he asks that same friend, Sri Krishna, forgiveness, please. So again, forgetful friend, is Arjun one of those? Second, forgiveness, friend, can he get that? And again, just to go back to chapter 11, verse 41, do remember the dissensions we have often talked about, Nar and Narayan, and the fact that Arjun, of course, was a very, very elevated soul. The fact that this is also a Leela. So that's why forgetful, it's a question to think about what really is happening there. But with that, of course, we do see in Swamiji's commentary that he has peppered it with many different shlokas from scriptures. So you can take a look at all those. But in summary, they all stress and emphasize that the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is the highest. Nobody higher than him, nobody parallels him. So that's why Arjun at this stage, with his awe, with his mix of excitement, but also what earlier was fear, now it is more about recognition and admission. It's a state of confusion, nevertheless. He's addressing Sri Krishna and asking for forgiveness because they used to play as pals, as buddies, even in older age. And Arjun, perhaps he feels he crossed the line at some stage. And so there's a lot of that to think about, which is why, if you look at the flyer we have for class, as Arjun rides down memory lane, which mischief is he confused about? Again, this is just one representation of it. They played at much older ages, in fact, talked at length, had philosophical discussions, but they were really, as they say, bosom buddies. They were pals. Arjun certainly treated Sri Krishna as one. Sri Krishna too, of course, did. But now, as Arjun, as Mummy explained in class, he's seeing that full cosmic form. He's taken aback and he's asking for forgiveness. So that mischief, in quotes, is if this were, of course, not a Leela, then he truly didn't recognize Sri Krishna's divine personality. He probably crossed the line, as we mentioned. There's that aspect. Given the fact, of course, that it's also a Leela, we know that he is part of that entire act, but he then had forgotten about Sri Krishna's divine personality. Forgotten again in quotes. So, mischief of many kinds, but also representative for us, how we often or easily tend to maybe not fully recognize the extent of God, God being everywhere, and being grateful and thankful at all times. So many different connotations for mischief. Just keep in mind a couple of English words we have seen before, perhaps, but to stress them again, venerate, right? To give respect, but truly also to treat something or someone as sacred. And then we have this third one here, if you look at it, implore. We've seen it. We've seen it in regular use as well. Beg in some sense. But again, this is a Shishya and Guru relationship as well. It's a disciple to his Guru, to his teacher. So he implores in the sense that he beseeches, he supplicates, he's seeking that sort of forgiveness. And then in the middle, we have presumptuously. That comes here in the commentary. It also comes here in the translation of chapter 11, verse 41. It's important because it talks about Arjun having made presumptions over the years, opinions perhaps, and assumptions, beliefs about who or what he thought Sri Krishna was. But presumptuous also often comes with a state of being confident or bold. And that's where it wasn't just a simple presumption or a simple assumption or opinion. It came with, perhaps now looking back, foolish confidence and boldness. So that is why he asks for forgiveness. Next, we shall look at chapter 11, verse 43.
पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्त्यभ्यधिक कुतोऽन्यो लोकत्रयप्य अप्रतिम प्रभाव.
Chapter 11, verse 43, same letters for the alliteration in the catchphrase, foremost father. This one certainly is much more obvious and straightforward. It, in fact, continues in a way from last time's content and maybe even from 2 weeks ago, where Arjun is continuing to praise Sri Krishna. He's sort of doing a sense check as well. He's been, taken aback by seeing the cosmic form, or as he continues to see it being unveiled, and he is acknowledging his foolishness. He has asked for forgiveness, and now he's again stating Sri Krishna is that foremost father, the father of the entire universe, of all creation, of all moving and non moving beings. Nobody higher than him in any of the three worlds. Immeasurable power and so many more attributes. He can only say a finite number of them. So again, Swamiji here quotes from the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Shvetashvatar Upanishad, as we saw even in recent weeks, Brahma for this world, but his father also is Sri Krishna. So he is also that greatest of all, not just fathers, but also spiritual masters. He is the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Nobody equal to him, nobody greater than him. So, as we noted also in class, Arjun has this rhetorical question here. Then who can possibly be greater than you? He knows the answer, but he's again grounding it in context and reality because he's getting back, as you said, doing a sense check. He's getting back to even his own bearings, and he's trying to make sure that he continues to stay humble as he acknowledges his potential mistakes while also giving that due recognition and praise to Sri Krishna. Now, we'll hand it over to Mummy to walk us through these three verses as well and add on more context, details, and Sanskrit vocabulary for us to learn as well.
Thank you, Gagan. So from verse number 41, let's look at the word pranayen. Pranayen means out of affection. From verse 42, avahasa artham. Avahasa artham means humorously. And verse number 43, we will see Apratim Prabhava. Apratim Prabhava means possessor of incomparable power. So now, based on these words, let's understand these verses more. So, what is happening in this verse? This verse is expressing Arjun's remorse. He's regretting. Yeah, and he's thinking that presumptuously, I just, took you very casually. I took you as my friend and I addressed you as, oh Krishna, or a Yadav, oh my dear friend. So now when he has seen the real universal cosmic form of Sri Krishna, he realizes, what did I do? Though Arjun was a very intelligent person and he knew, you know, somewhere he knew the greatness of Sri Krishna, but because of the Leela, Sri Krishna had made him forget, and he is now having that remorse and he's requesting for forgiveness from Sri Krishna for having treated him as ordinary friend, calling him names without knowing his divine greatness. Hmm? He says, please forgive me for all those rash and careless words. They were spoken in ignorance because I didn't know your supreme nature. I always took you as my cousin, as my friend, and I was very, very casual with you. But yes, sometimes it was out of pranayan, means out of affection also, because I just took you as my very close buddy, close friend, and sometimes humorously also. What is that? Avahasa artham. So, while playing, while eating, while having fun with friends, sometimes humorously, sometimes in affection and in ignorance, I have called you by very casual names, very casual words. So please, I now crave forgiveness. Please, now when I have witnessed the universal form of Sri Krishna, Arjun is now overwhelmed in awe and regret. So he is realizing that he treated Sri Krishna with the familiarity of a friend, unaware of his cosmic powers and glories. So he admits that his casual words, spoken out of affection or in a moment of foolishness, were not appropriate for the Supreme Lord. So now this verse also demonstrates his profound humility, okay, because that is arisen from true spiritual realization. It shows that he has deep respect for the divine and he is willing to take the responsibility for his past ignorance when these actions were driven by love and affection. They were childhood friends, they were bosom buddies, they were growing up together. So that time, Arjun never realized that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So he just treated him as a friend. Now Arjun has seen the cosmic form and he realizes the greatness of Sri Krishna, and also he understands how Krishna has taught to have an equal eye for everybody, So, and he understands, he notices that Arjun himself did not live up to that standard. Though he understands that Krishna always maintained that standard. Krishna, he calls Krishna Achyuta. Achyuta means one who never falls from his position. and that asserts that Sri Krishna's conduct was beyond reproach. He practiced what he preached. But Arjun, for himself, he feels, that he was foolish. Also, Arjun addresses Sri Krishna as aprameyam. Aprameya means immeasurable. So when he sees that cosmic, that Virat Roop, that universal cosmic form, he understands that how large heart Sri Krishna has, and only one who has that kind of large heart, that person can forgive. So that is why Arjun is saying, he's confessing to his wrongdoings and he says to Sri Krishna, please forgive me. So that now Arjun has understood his divine greatness. He wants to clean the slate of his past and begin to follow Sri Krishna's teaching. And in the verse number 43, Arjun is saying, uh, that he is, Krishna is apratim prabhava, possessor of incomparable power. So now he understands that Sri Krishna is the greatest and senior most. He is the father of the whole universe. He is the supreme spiritual master. The way parents who take care of their children, most every parent will do take care of the physical and emotional nourishment of their children. Also, then those parents who become greatest gurus also, the great teachers also for their children, they teach their children the right knowledge and values. Then they become worthy of being worshipped by their children. And here, Arjun is understanding that Supreme Lord is the ideal parent because he is the ultimate cause of this universe and he is the one who is his spiritual master also. He is the father also and spiritual master also. In verse number 42, we notice that Swamiji has given the example from many scriptures. Of course, Arjun has seen that cosmic form, and also he now understands from the scriptures also. All the scriptures are saying that he is the Supreme Lord. So we can go through these verses quickly that Swamiji has given us, which explain the unparalleled supremacy of God. So from Bhagavatam, it says, Aham evasam evagre nanyat kinchantaram bahihi. Then from Valmiki Ramayana, it says, Tvam omkarah parat paraha. That means the primordial sound, Om, is your manifestation. You are greater than the greatest. Arjun is understanding all this. Then Vasudeva Prabhu. That means Sri Krishna is the ultimate supreme Lord. So, all these scriptures are also saying Sri Krishna himself has said in previous verses that he is the supreme Lord, he is the father of father, the Brahma also. So, Arjun is now understanding and he is reaffirming that, O Sri Krishna, I have seen your cosmic form. I really now understand that you are the highest and ultimate personality that exists. You are the father of the entire universe. You are the father of all moving and non moving beings. And you are the most deserving of worship. And you are the supreme spiritual master. So that is where he says that nobody is equal to God, and nor is anyone supreme to him. That is what Arjun is declaring, and he is mentioning all the attributes about Sri Krishna, and he is asking for mercy and for forgiveness for his mistakes that he made in affection, love, and sometimes in foolishness. Over to you, Gagan.
Thank you, Mummy. Yeah, it's very helpful to go through all the details and also try to get some kind of view. It's almost like in meditation in some sense, right? You're in that trance trying to picture all this as I was hearing it, as each of us is partaking in this, relishing of this nectar and trying to put ourselves in Arjun's shoes to go through this process now, right? The various stages, emotions, and responses that we're getting to see from Arjun. But yeah, just picturing some of those memory lane times and so on, it just adds on to that devotion, which in fact I realized Swamiji also does mention in the commentary in an earlier verse, chapter 11, verse 24. He had talked about those different states. So we had talked about that many weeks ago. There are different responses people have. And so that again now adds to the information over here. Well, we look forward to seeing you all next week when we meet, which is Saturday, 20th September 2025. Same time, 8 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. India time. Till then, thank you so much and Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.